Okay, this is part 4 of the Predators review. As I said before, if you haven't seen the previous parts, watch them first. So we were talking about the scene with the predator dogs chasing the people. They get called away, so you know they're just not a wild species or another species of predators are hunting. There's actually a very distinct predator whistle, I guess that's what you call it, and they go away. So we know they're like under the control of the predators, which is kind of cool. It gives a new weapon to the predator arsenal. And how should I get into this? They do introduce another new element besides the kind of weird unknown species that we quickly came across, which I'm kind of excited about. The predator dogs. And they added a different type of predator, although they were kind of hyping this in the film, or not in the film, but in the promotion. But I really didn't notice that they were a separate group of predators. They were supposed to be bigger, as Lawrence Fishburne says, like, okay, the bigger ones hunt the small ones, and it's a blood feud that's gone back centuries or something along those lines. But I didn't even really notice that they were a different group. I was seeing them and going, oh, okay, I wonder where that other group of predators is going to come along, because I thought they would be very different. I mean, when the helmets come off, they have a lot bigger, God, what did they call those things? The predator mouths. God, I'm gonna kick myself for not knowing that. But their mouths are much bigger. Mandibles. Took me long enough. They have much bigger mandibles. So they're distinguished without that head, without that mouthpiece, or without the masks on. You can kind of tell the difference, but yeah, they're not as different as they were being hyped up to be. I mean, it is kind of interesting that we now have a different group of predators, and it kind of makes sense even with their the stuff from the comics and the books and stuff, that there's other tribes of predators, and maybe these guys fight each other occasionally. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, this any species, I guess, that has this kind of society where hunting is so valuable and is very tribal, you'd expect that to have a one unified government running things. I mean, compared to the tech we have today, and people in the 1800s would think, surely people with this type of technology would have no need for war. We've proven them wrong, so why can't an even more advanced race than us prove us wrong about technology, and thinking that would get rid of war and conflict, especially when this is a society that thrives on hunting and killing. Who am I talking about, us or the predators? I don't mind hunting. It's not bad. Most hunters that I know actually are pretty nice people. But I should get into this because I know people are going to be talking about this scene. The Predator Samurai fight. There's a character, I don't think I mentioned it before. Shame on me. I should finish mentioning all the characters. I basically got the Fishburne and ended there. There's Danny Trejo's playing a Mexican drug cartel member, like he always plays. Literally. We have a Sierra Leonean RUF Death Squad member. I'm not sure if this film's supposed to take place now or a few years ago, because from my recollection, the RUF has lost the war and is kind of disbanded. So, well, he does seem kind of regretful about his past actions, so to a degree. So maybe it is supposed to take place, and he's kind of ex-RUF Death Squad. And then, of course, there is Hanzo, who's never named, but his IMDb has him as Hanzo. The Yakuza. This guy doesn't say much. Basically, what he does say in the film is somebody goes like, he's talking, he sees the sword and he goes, "This is ancient. They've been doing this for a while." And somebody goes, "Well, you speak English." And he goes, "Why didn't you speak before?" And basically he goes, "I talk too much." Like I said, I like the humor in this film. And of course, he shows his hand that his fingers were cut off, I guess, for talking too much before. But they had the equivalent of the Billy scene with him. In the first film, the Billy, he stays on the log that crosses the river, pulls out his knife, and it's just going to be like, I'm just going to fight this guy. I'm not sure if in the first film it's still debatable. I think whether he is fighting them just because he's sick of it. This creature is going to come for him. And he just has to. You have no. You really going to the chopper is no point. You have to fight this thing, or is he trying to buy his friend's time? I'm not sure. In this one, it's pretty clear that Hanzo is going to sacrifice himself in order to buy everybody else time to get to this ship, because Lawrence Fishburne told them there's a ship, but they plan on stealing it. Fishburne kind of points out, like, they don't have any idea how to fly this thing. Brody's still going to go, we're going to do it anyway. Try it anyway, just for the hell of it. And it could be there's like a simple, like, push the start button on the thing, which actually it kind of looks like there was, but I'll get into that in a bit. But yes, so he takes his sword out, takes the shirt off, and he just kind of stands in the field and is like ready, and the Predator just kind of comes up and sees him and is just like, okay, I'll roll with this. He decloaks, he doesn't use his blasters, pulls out his knives, and in the first film we just get cut and we just hear of Billy getting killed. No, this one they show the fight, and it's the fucking Yakuza guy is going full on samurai style, fighting him like with formal katana moves and stuff, and it's a fucking awesome scene. I don't want to end how it. I don't want to say how it ends. Who kills who? Keep that as a surprise. But the scene itself is fucking awesome. One other weird thing with this character, he starts off, he's wearing this nice suit, and just because he steps in some mud, he like completely takes his shoes off. And the film emphasizes this, and then it really doesn't go anywhere. Like, okay, just because his shoes are muddy, he's gonna wander around this jungle barefoot. I mean, maybe if it was Vietnamese, I could buy that, but Japanese, I don't know. What's weird for me is that it emphasized it when he did it, and I thought, okay, well, they're probably going to come back and showing how him being barefoot lets him climb something later on. It didn't really. That's just kind of weird for me. I'm thinking there might have been a cut scene somewhere that was supposed to show, or maybe it was supposed to be some sort of character development thing. I didn't get what they were trying to say then. Unless this director just has a foot fetish and he wanted to get that in. That was kind of a weird scene, but the samurai fight scene is just fucking awesome. And I love how the Predator just kind of, okay, he wants to fight with swords, I'll go with it. But there was one bad thing. If I'm going to say one bad thing, they CGI'd some of the Predator blood, and bright neon green blood CGI'd does not look good. It looks okay when it's, the live action stuff, but when it's CGI'd, everyone complains about CGI blood that looks human. CGI blood that does not look human looks even worse. Which is probably why even in Avatar they made the blood still red. Because it still looked better. If you have like blue blood, or in this case green blood, it looks even more fake. I think that was a mistake they made on their part making this film, that they should have went more live action. I can't complain too much. There was a decent amount of live action stuff going on. I didn't see any obvious CGI human characters. Obviously when the Predators are mostly there, especially when they're camouflaged or CGI, because it's easier, I'll admit it. And it doesn't look too bad, because you're not really supposed to be able to see them that clearly anyway. I'm closing in. I probably have a few closing comments, so we'll have one more part to this, and that'll be the concluding part.